Hello, everyone. I'm Mario Florio from NBC 10. Welcome back to a Food Podcast, the place where you can come to hear all about the great things happening on the local food scene, all the wonderful restaurants we have locally, the great companies that are making delicious products, and community events. All the things that make me go, Right now I am at RES American Bistro in Providence, joined by chef and co-owner Evan Mathew, as well as co-owner Stephen White and co-owner Ryan Whitecotton. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.
Thank you for coming.
So, Evan, I'm going to start with you. First of all, let's talk about just celebrated your first anniversary of being open this month in March. Tell us how that was.
Yeah, honestly, it was phenomenal. We did a 1-year anniversary. Our anniversary was actually March 3rd. Last week we had a great number of our regulars and our biggest supporters come and join us for just an event, serving some of our main staples, things that we love serve at RES. We did a raw bar, we had a pasta station, lots of fun things. It was wonderful, and the turnout was unbelievable. We really felt the support.
So you opened the restaurant, obviously 2021, March, kind of in the middle of the pandemic. What made you decide to do that?
Yeah, honestly, this all happened with all of us sitting down for dinner at my house, and it just kind of snowballed. COVID changed everyone's lives, some for the better, some otherwise, and it was just, I don't know, it just kind of happened. It literally happened over us making fresh pasta, which is, it was just an organic, almost like a pipe dream, and day by day, it just became a reality, and it just happened.
Yeah. So your background is in culinary, you're cooking and food?
Yeah, I've spent the majority of my career in food service, definitely hospitality industry. The majority of that time was spent at the Capitol Grill, which I know is a main staple in Rhode Island, especially in Providence. So that's where I really learned to love the Providence food scene and to get to know a lot of the people that support the restaurant industry.
So was it always your dream to open your own restaurant?
Actually, no, far from it. It really never was. I always said that I would never do this. And I never would have thought I would be able to do it with my best friends, Stephen and Ryan. Like, we never, until that conversation, I don't think we ever talked about that. It just kind of happened. And then, I don't know, the next day after that dinner, after we talked about it, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and we all just started really looking into it, and then poof, it just happened.
And Stephen, what's your background?
My background's pharmaceuticals, reimbursement, and things like that.
Oh,
so
geez.
Definitely completely different from the restaurant scene. But I do have a lot of HR and stuff background, and I'm really good with people and things like that. But yeah, I can remember sitting around the table and just doing one of our regular dinners we do, and then we started to move forward, and we said, hey, if a door ever closes, maybe it wasn't meant to happen. And honestly, while we were going through the process, every door was just swinging open, and it was almost a dream come true. It was like one of those things where we'll never have this moment in our lives again to have the space that we have and the dream that we have. So why don't start now?
Yeah. So speaking of doors closing, for those folks who don't know, and Rhode Islanders love to describe things of where things used to be, RES is where Bravo used to be. They closed down, so this space was available, I guess, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, they definitely had plans to handle the pandemic. I don't think they could. Unfortunately, Fred, the last owner of Bravo, he passed away about 2 years prior from cancer. Wonderful man, great in the community. We as individuals that grew up in the community, we knew what Bravo used to be. It was a local spot. It was a very good place for us to go every now and then. And our idea was like, well, why don't we bring that back? But why don't we bring that back with our spin and the kind of energy we want to bring back into the community? And so far, I think the community's really responded to it, and we're absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've been in here, it's always packed, which is great. Evan, tell us about kind of the menu and how you would describe the food that you make here.
So our menu is also a big reflection off of the dinners that Steven, Ryan, and myself, we would do at our house. It almost became like almost like an iconic dinner party moment. We would have friends asking, like, when are we going to be invited to one of these dinner parties? And it just kind of, we didn't even realize it was like cultivating like within our group of friends or our community, and it just did. And our menu definitely strongly reflects that. Things that Ryan would make a lot, things that I would make, and we would always just kind of say like, oh my God, this would be amazing, like we could do this at a restaurant or whatever, and then like but we never said that thinking it would actually happen. And then here we are actually turning all those dinner parties into an entire restaurant menu.
It's like one big dinner party. Yeah. What was your thought about, Ryan, about opening a restaurant and bringing these dinner parties to life to the public?
Well, I didn't actually know if it would how it would transpire, but just to going back to background, I basically came to Rhode Island not knowing a soul, and I got a job at Parkside, and I spent about almost 5 years there, and then I went to BMW and was there almost 5 years, and then we knew of Bravo. I saw that it was no longer doing business and it wasn't doing takeout the way other restaurants were, so I kind of looked into it and noticed that it was for sale. And one thing led to another where I said, did you notice that Bravo's for sale and what we could do with it, and and basically we got really drunk, as you do during it. And it wasn't until the next morning, mid hangover, we're all at work and we're texting each other and we're like, I think it was Evan who said, I spent all night and this morning still thinking about what we were talking about. And so long story short, we started to do some research, and we found out the landlord and started talking to him and actually invited him over, Kenneth Delgarian, for a dinner party, and basically invited him into the same dinner party that we always pretty much throw for our friends. And we connected, and basically we got into a situation where it was a deal we couldn't refuse. So we didn't really ever intend to open a restaurant, but it just all kind of happened to us. And the interesting thing is, going from a restaurant to a car dealership, this building is actually built in 1912, and it was actually a Packard motor car dealership. So I went from a restaurant to a car dealership to owning a restaurant and a car dealership. So there you go.
Wow. I love that. I love the history of that. It comes like full circle, I guess. But was there any apprehension of opening during a pandemic?
I mean, I think we were nervous, but I think we were also so excited that like we saw the silver lining. I will say, now that we've lived it and we've gone through it, the pandemic, I think, was honestly a blessing in disguise. We might not have known that then, but when we opened in March, we still had a lot of social distancing rules that we had to follow. No seating at the bar, or we had to put up partitions. We had to do this. We had a capacity limit. Massive, critical things on sanitation, making sure that we are, doing our part to keep the spread of COVID down. And opening weekend, I think we did close to maybe like 100 guests, and it was just a mess. It was so bad, but we got through it, and it was just, and we did that many covers because we couldn't accept more. We had to keep tables 6 feet apart. We couldn't see people at the bar. So now we look back, like we can, we do 100 covers like with our eyes closed. We don't even realize that it's like that's like a kind of a late night or a light night, and we were able to train, like the staff was comfortable with the building. By the time all the capacity things and all the restrictions lifted, we were ready to go. The staff was ready. They fully understood the building, where to put things, how to maneuver. And I mean, honestly, it was good for all of us to go through that. It really was.
Yeah. For folks who haven't been here, describe kind of the space. You've got 2 levels, which is great, huh?
Yeah, so RES does have 2 floors, right on the corner of Empire and Washington. We're directly across the street from Trinity Repertory Company, which is a great asset to have, having a theater across the street. The first floor does have a nice full bar with a lovely dining room, lots of floor-to-ceiling windows, plenty of high cocktail tables surrounding the bar area. And then upstairs, we actually call it the Marcello Room, which also is floor-to-ceiling windows with beautiful murals of old playbills on the ceiling. And, you know, it overlooks kind of like the historic downtown area. You get to see Trinity lit up at nighttime. We have these wonderful, we call them date night tables that kind of face the windows in a little love seat that two guests can sit at and enjoy dinner, which people really love. And it's a great space. I mean, it's, you know, you kind of like, we have like kind of like a little niche for whatever kind of dining experience you're looking for, whether you want that rowdy, loud bar crowd, or if you want like kind of an intimate dinner for two, we can kind of do it all at once.
Yeah. You guys also, like this room up here where we're sitting in the upper level right now, can you do like a private party or a function?
Absolutely. I mean, we've done weddings, we've done bridal showers, rehearsals, baby showers, birthdays, retirements, graduations, everything like that. And I think the uniqueness of the space allows us to accommodate someone that really wants to be privatized with their family and friends and have it to themselves, or if they're just like, hey, we just have a really large party, maybe we want to do something semi-private, but we want to have a bar area because it has its own fully equipped bar, its own music system if you want to play something else. You know, we've had DJs, we've had, you know, all sorts of decorators up here. It's just a space that has so many options for the individuals looking for so many different things that I think it really, you know, it really sings with them, and they see the space and they go, yes, I want this skyline, I want these windows, I want this ambiance, I want this bar, you know, everyone's gonna love it. So, and you know, Evan and Ryan and I have curated like wonderful types of menus and things that you can do up here with your guests that just kind of like, you know, pander to every type of situation. So, I mean, it's like, it's phenomenal. And you can see that right on our website and respv.com in our events section. And it's, you know, give us a call. You'll love it. I guarantee.
Yeah. Do you feel like the city has really come back to life since everything?
We've watched I mean, like, we're floor-to-ceiling windows on both floors. Yeah. So you can't help but to watch what happens downtown. And there's always something crazy. You know, we always laugh that if Trinity's not going on, there's some type of, you know, something going on where there's always a dinner and a show, and it's a laughable event. But we've seen traffic increase. You know, people's response to us, you know, it's not just, oh, that's where Bravo used to be. They're like, oh, this is RES. You have to come here. You have to try this. It's, you know, it's a new experience. And it's what type of experience, again, that we've kind of grown up and we kind of love. So bringing that back and watching the community come around us has been just an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, definitely the windows are just like such an asset to this space.
I mean, they're each 8 feet long and 6 feet tall, so I mean, you can't miss it. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah. And in terms of obviously staff, how's it been going? In terms of, I know there's been a lot of in the industry in terms of keeping staff and hiring people, but you guys have a good staff here.
You know, staffing, especially in food service, I think has always been a struggle. I mean, I've said, I've always been in food service. That has always been kind of a difficult part of our job. COVID definitely did not make that any easier. If anything, it made it a lot worse. I think we're super fortunate to have curated a phenomenal staff. There are definitely moments that we feel as though we need more, or we need this, we need that, but the staff we have do a phenomenal job. We are definitely proud to say that we have, you know, the same kitchen staff since day one. We have a number of servers and bartenders since day one, which, you know, when it's a typical office job, I know a year doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're talking food service and like just that kind of pace of an industry, that does say something. Especially these people went through our growing pains just as we did. You know, we learn and kind of evolve every day, and they kind of have to go through that with us. So, you know, there are moments that we say one thing and then 24 hours later we completely change it, and you know, it's just we just don't know. We kind of just learn day by day, shift by shift, and I think they're our biggest asset, and we're definitely fortunate to have who we have. But yeah, hiring, people management in general has always been a struggle.
Yeah, it's always a challenge, I'm sure, and interesting. Who comes up with the menu? Do you guys collaborate? How does that work?
Yeah, it's definitely a collaboration. We all have our say. I think I play a big role in that. Ryan definitely brings a lot to the table. Stephen has his wishes, well, but it's a good middle ground for all of us.
Stephen definitely takes credit for the chicken nuggets on the burger.
Yeah,
homemade chicken nuggets.
That was another one of those fun moments where we're coming up with our burger, and Steven says, God, I wish this was like almost like Wendy's, where it's like you pick 4 and it came with nuggets. And me and Ryan just like a light bulb went off, and we were just like, oh my God, we have to figure this out. We have to make house res homemade chicken nuggets, like real nuggets, not like a breaded piece of chicken, but like an actual chicken nugget. And we did. That was another dinner party.
Yeah. But I think that speaks to how we constructed the menu as a whole, where we have a lot of traditional, everything from the Scotch egg to the Carnival Row, which is one of our desserts, one of our staple desserts, and that's popcorn ice cream with cotton candy and caramel popcorn and on a funnel cake. And so something fun and then something traditional. It basically is all around our menu.
Yeah. Stephen, I feel like I can relate to you. Like I'm the one who likes to eat. I don't really cook that. I don't have any skills in the kitchen, but I know what I like and I know what I'd like to see on the menu. Yeah, is that how you are?
Oh, absolutely. As the youngest of 6, it was either eat or don't eat. So don't get me wrong. I love to eat, and I will eat quickly if need be. But just watching Ryan and Evan come up with ideas and sit in the kitchen and say, hey, like, let's try this together, or what do you think of this? I mean, things like that are just like, they bring back this wholesome experiences growing up with like a large family of sitting around at dinner time every night and being like, oh, let's try this, or let's eat this, or it's almost like a community event, and it's just it's something that I need in my life for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Is there something that's your most popular item or your signature item? What would you say?
Well, we have a few. I mean, our seafood items are definitely very popular. On our appetizer list, I would say our lobster tempura is extremely popular, which is it's a cold water lobster tail, like right out of New England waters, tempura'd, and then served over a bed of crispy kale. It's kind of dressed in this like spicy sambal honey sweet sauce. It has some toasted sesame seeds. It's phenomenal. We literally, the amount of them we sell is scary sometimes, but people love it. And then in terms of our entrees, I would say our sesame seared tuna bowl is probably our most popular entree, also being seafood, which was kind of just a play on things that we like, with like, it has a scallion fried rice topped with a sesame seared piece of tuna. And then it comes with this beautiful salad of chiffonaded radishes and cilantro, scallions, and it's all dressed in this like lobster miso froth. And it's fun. Every item kind of has a twist and a turn, but it's not necessarily ingredients that people don't recognize. It's just a new way to present them. So, nothing on our menu I think would frighten anybody. It's just more of a representation of who we are and what we want to bring to the table.
You have a fun drink menu too.
Yes, we do have a number of cocktails, also curated by the three of us. A lot of them are named after our family or our friends. And that was fun building. It's, I look back and I remember us feeling it was almost like frustrating or hectic, or like trying to figure it out. And now we look back and we kind of like see what we accomplished, and like some of these drinks we made up. Some of these entrees, some of these combinations we just like kind of made up. Of course, like I know we're not reinventing the wheel, but it's fun to see the amount of people that come in and be like, oh my God, the Cape Way Ice is my favorite drink. And we're just like, really? It's like named after like Ryan's father's like ice shop. And we just kind of like literally faked it. And, it's like people love it. And a lot of our drinks like have that kind of pull, and it's kind of incredible to see the guest reaction on it.
I love that this whole restaurant concept was just born of you guys just sitting around at home having a dinner party and just kind of what you guys liked and said, let's bring it to life.
Yeah.
So, of course, I can't do a food podcast without tasting some of your delicious dishes. So I don't even know where to begin. We have a few items here. I have to say I have had this before, but I had to try it again. This is the teriyaki bacon, one of your appetizers. Tell us who came up with this idea, because I love it. I'm a bacon lover, for those of you that don't know. But how did you come up with this?
So this was, and I could be mistaken, but I feel like this was something many years ago. Me and Stephen lived together, and we would have some lazy Sundays. This is so sad, but we would literally order a massive amount of Chinese food, and we would watch reruns of Roseanne. And it was like something that like we weren't proud of, but we were not mad about it. No. And something that we would always get was like the beef teriyaki, like that beef on the stick, like that very American Chinese kind of food. And I think the bacon teriyaki branched from that. But to be honest, when it comes to the bacon, I'm not 100% sure if I remember where we came up with this idea.
Honestly, he's probably 100% right. I mean, some of the things we, just spurned from our daily lives of things and what we like to do. So don't get me wrong, I am not mad that this was invented and that we cooked this, because it's like a bag a night is a problem for me.
I am very glad, because I've been here before and I'll get it and I don't even share it with whoever I'm with. I eat the whole bag. So I'm gonna oh my god, this is so good. So you cook the bacon? How do you get it on the stick?
So it actually gets skewered. So we use a pretty thick slab bacon, and that what that means is just, it's a little thicker than traditional bacon, and we skewer it onto bamboo skewers, and then it's partially cooked. We kind of render out some of the fat, and then to order, when it gets ordered, it kind of gets lacquered in this like soy hoisin red glaze. It actually has a little.
So good.
It actually has a little like red food coloring, so we can make sure that like it has that kind of like that pork spare rib or that beef teriyaki kind of look that you would get at a Chinese restaurant.
It comes in a great little Chinese
the
food bag.
Chinese to-go bag. So it comes in this little foil bag. Again, I think that was just kind of something that we kind of figured out and decided to do.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if any Chinese restaurants are going to like steal your idea, because that is delicious.
Well, I think we kind of stole it from them.
Absolutely.
I guess so. So tell me about this. This is the lobster tempura.
Yeah, so the lobster tempura actually is something that we kind of created. To be honest, it was created at my last job, so I can owe the Capitol Grill to this. Stephen and Ryan actually came into dinner, and I just wanted to send out like a special app, and this was something that I just kind of made it, on the fly, if you will, sent it out. And Stephen's not a huge seafood eater, but he definitely was like kind of impressed by it. Ryan loved it, and then going forward, like it was kind of a special appetizer that I would make for a lot of people that would come into the grill, as like as a VIP or a first time diner or whatever the occasion was, and everybody was just like raving about it. So again, it was just another moment that we decided to do a restaurant, and people were like, "You got to do that lobster tempura." Anybody that came into the grill and we made it for them, they're like, you have to put that on the menu. So here it is.
And it looks healthy with the kale too. At least it makes you feel a little less guilty, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my god, that is delicious. Is it lobster tail? Is that what it is?
It is.
And the kale, how do you cook the kale? I love when it's crispy like that.
Yeah, so the kale, a lot of people think it's fried, but it actually isn't. The kale, it's actually, we like kind of remove it from the stem, and then it's kind of like, we almost massage like an olive oil onto each leaf to make sure that like it's kind of like really nicely coated, not drenched, but just, you kind of want the entire leaf to be shiny. Yeah. And then it's kind of laid out flat on a sheet pan, like a single layer. Yeah. And then we actually sprinkle it with this ginger salt. That we make in-house, that also has some fresh lemon zest, and then it's kind of just slow baked in the oven. The oven's really low, like 200 degrees, and it takes, it does take a little while, like maybe 20-25 minutes, and you just end up with these perfectly crisp kale chips that we can tell ourselves they're healthy.
Well, they're delicious. I just had another piece of this. That was like cooked to perfection. So good. And then I've had this before. What is it? Scotch egg.
Yes.
What exactly is it?
So this Scotch egg is something that was definitely a a child of Res. It goes way back. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, this dates back to Scotland, where the Scottish wives would make these for their husbands and they would take them to lunch every day. They were easily transportable, and they were kind of packed away. And then the husbands would be at work, and they could just kind of open up a Scotch egg and eat it as they almost like a handheld device, like a sandwich, if you will. And what it is, it's a soft-boiled egg wrapped in a house-made ground sausage with kind of our own spices. And then it's lightly breaded, and then it's fried. And then what we serve it with is this kind of a smoky tomato jam that is kind of like nestled into.
It looks so good. I'm going to try it. God, that is really good. That jam is like, what is that? It's so good.
Yeah, people love that jam.
It's jamming.
It's something else that we make here. We do, we are fortunate. We have a lot of space, and we have a lot. We're able to make a lot of stuff right here in house. So,
and actually, the jam was changed for seasonally, right? So
yeah,
we started with an aioli, right?
Exactly. So we do. We've kind of kept the Scotch egg on our menu since the opening. So when we were doing it during the summer, it actually came with this really light salad that had a little lemon aioli and then some frisée. Which is like almost like this bitter green that goes really well with the sweet sausage. And then come winter time, we kind of switched it over to this like kind of smoky tomato jam, just kind of bringing in a little more earthiness and like warmth to the dish. Even though the tomato jam is served cold, if not room temperature, it adds a little more substance. The aioli and the little frisée salad is almost very summery and spring-like, if you will. Yeah. So we just kind of wanted to bring in some more of those like winter flavors.
Nice. And I am going to sip a cocktail. This is the, I think I got the lychee martini.
Yes, this is the lychee martini. This is also something that I suppose you could say we stole it, but it's a cocktail that we used to have at a sushi restaurant, actually in Cranston, Haruki's. It's a phenomenal restaurant if you haven't been. And we would always get the lychee martini, and we actually didn't know how to make it, so we kind of just recreated our own. But it is kind of an ode to them, and it is, we make ours with our house vodka, which is the Granger's organic vodka, and then this Soho lychee liqueur. There's a little splash of pineapple juice, a little splash of cranberry juice in there, and it's just shaken. It's served with the lychee. It's just phenomenal.
It's so pretty, and it's delicious. I'm gonna. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been awesome to learn just about how I'm fascinated by how this whole restaurant came together, just by you guys sitting around. But the food is excellent, the location is great, and I kind of buried the lead, but the name, obviously, RES American Bistro, came from your initials, Ryan, Evan, and Stephen. So you've definitely left your mark not only on the name but on the restaurant itself. So thank you so much. Good luck with going forward. Congratulations on 1 year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so check it out, RES American Bistro on Washington Street in Providence. The food will definitely make you go, mmm.